with me throughout the sands of time. Love me through the dark desert night. Hold me close, be my partner in crime. Love like glue, the water tide.
I just need to know that you're gonna be ride or die. If kingdoms turned into dust, would you still be my ally? If life wrapped its hands around my neck, bow tie, would you still love me? Just let me know if. What up, Pride? It's your boy Amari, back again with another reaction video. Today we're getting into another part of this Hamilton auxiliary content reaction series. So we're getting into more of the demos, more of the workshops. We're just working our way through. We're actually almost done with this, which means very soon we're going to be heading to the mixtape. And for those of you who haven't been around to see it, very soon I'm going to be starting another musical. I can't tell you what that is yet because the results haven't come in yet. I'm letting the democratic process play out, so you will see soon and I will see soon, but I'm excited for that. But along with that, we're going to be continuing with the Hamilton content, all of the deleted songs and other auxiliaries. So let's continue with that today, see what they have for us, and I'll be seeing all of you guys on the other side.
I gotta be my own man like my father, but bolder. I shoulder his legacy with pride. I used to hear him say that someday I would blow us all away. My father wasn't around. Father wasn't around. I swear that I'll be around for you. Ladies, I'm looking for Mr. George Eka. Made a speech last week.
I feel like that Dear Theodosia reference wasn't in the final version. I say that while admitting I haven't listened to this part of the musical that much since actually reacting to the music. It's sad, okay? It's sad. And also, I feel like there are stronger songs than this in the musical. So I listen to those instead and also like make my own music, listen to other music. So I don't remember, but Patreon exclusive version allows me to go back and play this part and see if I'm tripping, but I don't think I am. Okay, so yeah, there's like a clear 10 Duel Commandments reference in there, like the motif from 10 Duel Commandments, but I don't remember this Dear Theodosia part at all. Hold on, let me like figure out where in the song we are anyway, because I don't think this is the beginning. One second.
I gotta be my own man like my father, but bolder. I shoulder his legacy with pride. I used to hear him say that someday I would blow us all away.
I'm only 19, but my mind is okay. So we're right here. Okay, yeah.
Father wasn't around. Father wasn't around. I swear that I'll be around for you. Ladies, I'm looking for Mr. George Eka. Made a speech last week. Our 4th of July speaker.
Okay, so yeah, they basically just cut that part out and just like stitch the two things that happen around it together. I'm not sure why, but I'm okay with it. I don't know if this is going to continue on to then later on include the same 10 Duel Commandments motif. Maybe they were feeling like it was too much motif madness in the section. I don't know. I'm not Lynn, so I can't tell you why that particular reference was removed, but I find it insane that this musical includes so many motifs and references to previous songs and lyrics and so on and so forth, and yet like the version before it had even more. Like when I was reacting to it, I felt like it would be very difficult to include more of those in there, and yet they did in these like older versions of the songs. So that's really interesting. I had someone like in a DM complain that they didn't like Hamilton because they feel like it relies too much on like all of these like motifs and like references to old songs and whatnot. Me personally, I feel the exact opposite. I think it's really awesome. And I think almost all of them are really well done in the way in which they're woven in. And even the ones that I think aren't like, you know, the ones that are, I feel like are a little clunky in their fit, I think still have narrative importance. And so make sense from like a storytelling standpoint, even if they don't necessarily make sense from a music focused standpoint. Does that make sense? So, yeah, interesting. Okay, let's continue.
Someday I would blow us all away. My father wasn't around. Father wasn't around. I swear that I'll be around for you. Ladies, I'm looking for Mr. George Eka. Made a speech last week. Our 4th of July speaker. Y'all look pretty good in your frocks. How about when I get back, we all strip down to our socks? I'll do whatever it takes.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, what is a 10 dual commandments motif reference in the final version is instead another Dear Theodosia reference, which if you cut out the first one, then I guess removing the second one is fine. They could have cut out the first one and just left the second one, but instead they swapped it out for another reference to another song. I think both have narrative weight. Like this one, obviously referencing how much the fathers care about their children. In this case, how much Alex cares about Philip. And it's also showing how much Philip cares about Alex. The fact that he's like willing to go duel over his honor, so on and so forth. But also kind of goes to show like, Alex, if you just like been a better man, your child wouldn't have had to do this. And so like all of the promises that you were making to him as a infant, you kind of fumbled the bag on those, you know? Pretty sad, but also the 10 dual commandments reference, especially if you're hyper aware of the fact that those motifs are being used as, in some cases, narrative foreshadowing moments, is like a really interesting little tidbit in there. So like, I don't dislike that either. It's also like purely instrumental. So it's like gives the performers a little break there. It's, I'm fine with both, basically.
Sound, and you'll blow us all away. George, I'm trying to watch the show. You should have watched your mouth before you talked about my father, though.
I know where to find you. Fuck off, I'm watching the show now.
Your son's engaging in a duel and we hawking.
What? Where'd you hear that?
He's got the whole street talking. Thanks Theodosia for warning me. Now I'm warning you. You got the facts, Alexander. What you gonna do?
Man, Pops, if you had only heard the shit he said about you, I doubt you would have let it slide, and I was not about to. Then slowly and clearly aim your gun towards the sky. 1, 2, 3.
No, okay, all right. Before we jump into that, obviously we have a little bit of change lyrics, but basically the same general standpoint. Philip challenging whatever that dude's name is. I already forgot it. At the theater, the dude basically telling him to F off, but in this case, it wasn't a basically. That is exactly what he said. And Alex hearing about the duel, him talking to Philip about it, trying to talk him out of it, being unsuccessful because Philip definitely inherited his father's stubbornness. They're just a bunch of mules in that regard. So, yeah, same basic premise. There's like a Theodosia reference that I don't think is in the final version. Yeah, because like I'm watching, it goes, I know where to find you, piss off. So it's piss off instead of F off. I'm watching the show now. And then there's like a musical thing. What's I feel like that's probably a motif reference as well. Hold on, let's see. Okay, yeah. So again, another 10 dual commandments motif reference there. You can like literally hear them counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So anyway, that's also a reference to the song that I can't think. Take a Break. Is it Take a Break? Where Philip and Eliza do the little piano count section as he's learning French, but this is like a more blatant reference to that's also the song we get introduced to Philip. But that aside, this is a more blatant reference to 10 dual commandments because obviously a duel is about to ensue. But what was I gonna say? There's something in here that I was going to say. I don't remember. So I guess I will just hit play. Like I don't remember what I was gonna say something about this that happens here, but I can't remember. So hopefully what I said instead was good. Said instead. Hey, that's bars. At least you got that. Okay. Anyway, I'm a poet and I don't even know it. I actually do know it. I release music. That's kind of the whole point. But you get the point. Point and point also rhyme, but it's like, that's not a bar. Okay, let's continue.
Your son's engaging in a duel and we hawking.
What? Where'd you hear that?
He's got the whole street talking. Thanks Theodosia for warning me. Now I'm warning you. You got the facts, Alexander. What you gonna do?
Man, Pops, if you had only heard the shit he said about you, I doubt you would have let it slide, and I was not about to. Then slowly and clearly aim your gun towards the sky.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I was aiming for the sky. I know. Save your strength and stay alive. Eliza.
I was sitting with the children in the garden. Who did this, Alexander? Did you know?
I'm so sorry.
Who is it?
Okay, so interesting. Thank you for cutting that up to be very short. I was trying very hard to be like cerebral and not get emotional. Thoughts. They're in my head. I need them in the mic. The addition of sitting with the children in the garden lets you know that that's not her only child, because at one point in the musical, I was thinking like, hey, that's their only child, but it wasn't. He was just the firstborn. Still painful, but gives you a little bit of extra context there. I feel like it doesn't really change the flow that much. The actual delivery from Philippa is more melodic and sing-songy versus in the final version, it's more like traumatic and dramatic. It's more emotion-packed. And therefore, like the notes on that were much more perfect and resonant versus like it's a lot more raw and gritty in the final version. I prefer the final version personally because it like further demonstrates the emotion of the moment. There's something else in here. Come on, brain. You can do this. Oh, I was going to talk about the art. This part of the musical, like I like this animatic. It's nice. The art style is cute, but this part, like this is like, I just really like this art style, from the hair texture and shading to like the eyes. You guys know I'm really big on eyes, both in real life and in art. I just think eyes are incredibly important, very expressive. And this like grabbing the hand, the way it fades in almost feels like he's like grabbing the hand of God or like an angel or something. Like he's like, you know, seeing the light in a metaphorical way, which I thought was like really interesting. Right after this, like Alex is right here. So I'm thinking like maybe that was meant to be Alex's hand, and like the dude is like fading in and out of consciousness. And so that's why his dad's hand is just like appearing randomly. But I don't know. I prefer like my headcanon on this like being like a metaphorical, like he's being pulled to the other world kind of thing. Like that's the hand of death, so to speak. Intense, but like also like very poetic, you know? This picture right here, just wow. Very good art. Also, on an unrelated note, the tears here, I kind of like giggled because it's like showing how afraid he is, but that's like such a small touch that was like so important to this scene right here, to just like really show that he wasn't about that life. Like he wasn't really trying to kill old boy, and he was like afraid, and like in the process he dies. But yeah, the art right here is spectacular. Like look at that hair. Like just come on now. Like Goldilocks, fire. Okay, he looks great is the point. This art is just really good. This picture is kind of yeah, but the face on Alex here is super interesting. You get the point. Overall, I really like the art style on this part of the video. This particular animatic is great. So shout out to that artist.
Who is it? You used to work on the same staff. It might be nice, to get Hamilton on your side. It might be nice to have some pressure indirectly applied.
Just tell him that Burr might win.
He might.
He'll act out of pride.
He can't help himself.
It might be nice to have Hamilton on your side.
Talk less, smile more.
Sir,
I'm going door to door.
you're openly campaigning.
Sure.
That's new.
Honestly, it's kind of draining.
Burr.
Hey, look, to be the president, you have to be unprecedented.
Okay, I guess, but take your line of reasoning and extend it. Is there anything you wouldn't do?
Nope, I'm chasing what I want. And you know what?
What?
I learned that from you. The votes are in, and I'll be damned.
Well,
The Electoral College, it's a tie. Now it's up to the Federalist delegates that Hamilton has in his pocket. He could decide this election.
Yo! I probably shouldn't be adding my voice. But the people are facing a difficult choice. And if you were to ask me who I prefer, don't vote Burr. I have never agreed with Jefferson once. We've been fighting on like said and all is done, Jefferson has beliefs, Burr has none.
Well, I'll be damned. Well, I'll.
Okay, this art style is like a lot more simplistic, but like the comedic value in this is just look at this image right here. Burr sulking and steaming, very clear, even though there's not a lot going on in the image. And at the same time, you see Jefferson and Madison being very smug, very surprised, but also very smug. Very good. This version is very similar to the previous version. There's like more context and stuff, obviously, but the overall point of the song is about the same. This song is good, but I'm not gonna lie, I also don't listen to it that much because I like the song that comes right after. I think it's right after this. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, it's right after this. It's great. It's one of the best songs in the musical, in my opinion, and therefore I listen to it more. Also, we skip It's Quiet Uptown? To be honest, I'm fine with that. I wasn't ready to cry today anyway, so I'm cool. Let's continue. But anyway, this art style is like really, really funny. And like look at my boy face right here. Okay, Burr is about to lose it. He's about to snap. And to be honest, it's a little bit valid because like Hamilton really did F him in this, which was like a whole point of debate when I got to this part of the musical, and like the people who were on Burr's side were super passionate about it. And people who thought Alex did the right thing were super passionate about it. There are even some Thomas Jefferson fans for some reason, and they obviously thought that Hamilton did the right thing. It's just, yeah, I don't really want to debate this again. If you would like to debate this, go back to that comment section, debate it there. But yeah, very interesting animatic. The song is basically the same. And it makes sense. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They didn't really fix it. They just like trimmed it down a little bit. I think for brevity's sake. But like most of these songs here are very, very similar to their final versions. Original, as in original, what I originally heard. So yeah, not much to say there other than the fact that like I like the songs. I have liked them. Some of them I don't listen to that much because they're sad. And or they're like right next to a great song. So it's like a good song next to a great song. I'm naturally going to be pulled towards a great song. You know, again, in my opinion.
Don't vote Burr. Oh! I have never agreed with Jefferson once. Oh! We've been fighting on like 25 different fronts. Oh! But when all is said and all is done, Jefferson has beliefs, Burr has none.
Well, I'll be damned. Well, I'll be damned.
It is crazy how the man who comes in second gets to be vice president.
Well, you know what? We could change that. You know why? Because I'm the president.
How does an arrogant, insolent, immigrant, orphan, bastard, poor son somehow endorse an aristocratic southern adversary impossibly connected and keep me from being elected? I want to be in the room.
I think I prefer that version. This is also an excuse to play the original original that I heard. You know what I mean? Play the other version because of course I'm going to. I feel like I played this specific song like 5 times towards the end of the reaction to the music. I just like this song a lot. It's yeah. I don't like Burr, but like Leslie is a monster. So like all of his songs are incredible. He deserves every single award. He's a ridiculously talented individual. I feel like I said that last video, but like it's still the case, so I'm still saying it. Okay, let's continue. Wait, no, let's not continue. Let's play this. You know what's crazy? I realized this kind of a little bit in previous videos, but like not as much until now. With my new mic and me deciding to hold it to guarantee that like the levels are pretty good, I can't dance the same way because like as you've seen, I dance a lot with my hands, like a lot, especially in videos like this where like I can't get up and like physically move. Dancing a lot with my hands, my shoulders, and my arms. But like if I have a mic in one hand and my phone in the other hand, what am I dancing with? Right, technically my hands, but like I would be moving the phone away from the mic. You wouldn't be able to hear. It would defeat the purpose and force me to edit the actual song into the video, which these videos are already a lot of work. So I don't like that I can't do that. It's not fun. Like, even when I perform, I prefer to perform with like a headset mic. So like both of my hands are free, because like holding like a SM58 or something like that, like in my hand, is like effing annoying to me, because then I only have access to one hand, and now I have access to no hand. I have no arms at this point. Okay, it's not fun. I'm a snake, kind of like Burr. Oh, you see what I did? You didn't see that coming. That was okay. That was a hook out of left field. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. The point is, this song is good, and me not being able to dance is infuriating. I don't know what he said, but I know there's like a bunch of other different stuff in here. Is there like no reference to the room where it happens in this part? Because like that's a tragedy. That's one of the best parts of this song. The song overall is great, but like the room where it happens and every subsequent reference to it is incredibly necessary for like humanity's sake, you know? So maybe the room where it happens didn't exist back in the workshop days. Were there any new songs added from the workshop to the final version, or was it just stuff being cut out to take it from like longer to shorter? I don't know. I wouldn't know that, because like that's not, obviously I'm seeing the stuff that was deleted, cut out, edited, whatever. I'm not seeing what wasn't there and then added later, unless it was in substitution of something here, you know? So anyway, I'm joking. Oh my God. Point is, I like this. This is very interesting. Hold on. Still calls him arrogant. Still calls him an orphan. He goes bastard whoreson instead of insolent immigrant. No, he still calls him an arrogant immigrant. Arrogant, insolent immigrant, orphan, versus arrogant immigrant, orphan, bastard, whoreson. And he also calls him whoreson still here. Yeah. Whoreson is like, it's like Thorson or Ericsson or Odinson, but rude. For those of you who either followed Norse mythology, are Scandinavian and or Nordic and or a fan of Marvel comics, you'll know what I'm talking about. But for the rest of you, just take my word for it that was like a very clever connection that I made there. And also, stop calling his mom a whore, okay? I don't like it, okay? It hurt my feelings before in the musical. It's been wrapped back around. I forgot that he called him a whoreson. When I listened to this part, I just kind of like tuned that out, I guess. I don't know. But justice for Alexander's mom, Mama Hamilton. I'm so sorry how they did you in history and in this musical.
How does an arrogant, insolent immigrant, orphan, bastard, poor son somehow endorse an aristocratic...
They have the click track in this for some reason?
How does an arrogant, insolent immigrant, orphan, bastard, poor son somehow endorse an aristocratic southern adversary impossibly connected and keep me from being elected? I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens, the room where it happens. You've kept me from the room where it happens for the last time. Dear Alexander, I submit for your immediate perusal a letter from a Dr. Charles Cooper, who was kind enough to give me his approval to reprint a letter that he sent in confidence. He claims that on numerous occasions you have called me a dangerous man. Furthermore, I ought not to be trusted with the reins of government. Obviously, such an accusation must be met with either an immediate acknowledgement or disavowal. Now, are you capable of such a thing? I have the honor to be your obedient servant, A. Burr.
Okay, so obviously there are some changes musically. For the most part, it's just a difference in instrumentation, not notation. And what I mean by that is like it's the same musical phrases just played on different instruments. The composition is idea-wise mostly the same, but it sounds better in the final version. But this version still goes hard. The more ever-present bass line is just like, it's so good. It's so good. But that's not really why I paused. I paused to my neck hurts so bad. This is crazy. I've been trying to like play this off all video, but like it's making it hard to think, especially because like I move my head and neck a lot while talking. So yeah, know that I've been suffering through whatever type of neck situation I have going on. I need a massage really bad. So that aside, back to the point. I'm too honest with you guys in my videos. That's crazy. Like, you don't need to know that information at all. And yet here I am just like telling you everything. Why? I don't know. It is what it is. Hopefully you guys are like entertained at my authenticity or openness. I don't know. Whatever. Back to the point. The lyrics. Very different. I like the actual final version's lyrics better. I think the flow is better. This contextually gives a lot more, there's a lot more meat on the bone there, obviously, and it's a lot more rappy, but because of the more intricate rhythm. But yeah, I just like the cadence of this better. So good. Oh my god. Okay, anyway, you get the point. It's more methodical. This one, Burr comes out swinging a lot more. So I don't know how the buildup on this is going to go, but the buildup in the final version is more, it feels more character true, or true to Burr's character, because Burr is the kind of person to try to settle things in a seemingly diplomatic way initially before snapping, you know? Versus this one, he comes out like already having lost it, which, to be honest, is valid. It's not necessarily unrealistic, but this just feels more Burr. He comes in smooth, suave, and diplomatic, and then when that doesn't work, he continually gets more and more upset. Do you get what I'm saying? And like it leads him towards like this spiral into oblivion. But this one, like the flow is a lot more intricate, obviously, but it just doesn't sit in the beat. Like the pocket of the what is basically the lead melody is not as, it's not as smooth, you know? And so while I do, generally speaking, like when songs add more context, in this case, not so much, because I feel like that says most of the important stuff while also musically fitting so much better. But I admit that I'm very biased because I really, really like the final version of this song, so much so that like most changes to this song that aren't just like adding new stuff without like subtracting or like changing what was already there are going to probably be a no for me. So I admit that is the place that I'm coming from. But at the same time, let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you guys feel about this, because I feel like this just doesn't flow as well, you know? He is flowing, don't get me wrong, but it's not like, that's like a smooth kind of slithering that happened. A smooth kind of slithering. I keep wanting to say slithering. Smooth kind of slithering that happens through the course of that verse, versus this one is more like, you know, choppy. And I personally don't like it as much.
Elected. I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens, the room where it happens. You've kept me from the room where it happens for the last time. Dear Alexander, I submit for your immediate perusal.
That's another thing. He comes in a lot more like why am I almost dying so many times in this video? Oh my God. Did you see that? Did you see that? That was insane. What happened there? Body, get it together. Okay, back to the point. He comes in a lot more like timidly and softly on the Dear Alexander. That one is velvety. This one is still like nice, but it creates this huge dichotomy, but not in a good way, between the way he enters the letter, or the way he enters the verse, or he starts the letter, and the rest of it, which is like, you know, this one is like very on beat and very rhythmic and very like, it's like heavy staccato, but the initial like Dear Alexander part is like very loose and like it's withdrawn and timid. Loose as in like its connection to the beat itself. Versus the final version, the Dear Alexander, bruh, like that's enough right there to send me on to heaven. It is like just Dear Alexander, he deserves a Tony for that alone. Forget the rest of the musical. That part right there gonna hit every time, my guy, every time. And so, yeah, I just hit yeah, okay. I'm beating myself up, choking. My neck is going crazy. This video is just, what is happening to me, guys? What is please, what is happening to me?
It happened for the last time. Dear Alexander.
It's still beautiful though, because his vibrato is crazy. But like, okay, compare that to this. My guy, that's crazy. That's crazy. Why is it so good? It's so dumb that like he can say 2 words and it's so good every time. Oh my goodness. Okay, anyway, you get the point. The final version is better, but like you can't top that. You don't even try. You can't. Anyway, I love this song. So we're gonna eventually get to Alex's part. There's probably lots of changes there based off the first verse, but like Leslie's part of this song is the better part. Like if we're just being real, it is, and therefore that's why I'm focusing more on this part, because like the changes are so drastic to the better part of the song that it needs to be discussed. But anyway, let's continue.
Dear Alexander, I submit for your immediate perusal a letter from a Dr. Charles Cooper, who was kind enough to give me his approval to reprint a letter that he sent in confidence. He claims that on numerous occasions you have called me a dangerous man. Furthermore, I ought not to be trusted with the reins of government. Obviously, such an accusation must be met with either an immediate acknowledgement or disavowal. Now, are you capable of such a thing? I have the honor to be your obedient servant, A. Burr.
Dear Mr. Burr, I reflected on the letter I received from you on the afternoon of June 18th, and I'm afraid that I cannot provide you with the kind of answer that you're looking for. The phrase numerous occasions in place factual situations conveys infinite shades. It's way too vague a phrase to pin to serious allegations.
What?
Listen now, how am I to disavow something so unspecific, dangerous with the reins of government? Wow, surely I said something less banal, be realistic now. I have the honor to be your obedient servant, A. Ham.
Interesting. What do we think, class? What do we think? Let me know what you guys think. This ignore every other song I've reacted to in this video so far. All the comments better be about that. I want to hear from everybody also leave comments on the other stuff, but I want to hear what you guys think about this, because there are some massive changes to this and I can't tell if I hate it or like really appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's better. And it's better. This is like, from a technical standpoint, I get that this is like a more complex flow, but it just doesn't fit right. You know, it's like, I can't think of like a decent analogy, but like, it's kind of like a less is more situation. All of the same intention and energy is still there, but it's just so much more. I don't know. Does that make sense? It's too much for this particular instrumentation, and it's too much for this particular period. Also, there was like a part in there where it was so complex that like Lin kind of stumbled over his words, which obviously doesn't help like my general impression of like the overall vibe of the section. But I like what they did on the final version more. It's still combative without being so militaristic or just like I don't know. It's yeah. I don't like it. I don't dislike it. I just don't love it. And I love the other version, you know? So Mr. Vice President. There's like some interesting like rhyming and stuff in here, but like I don't even want to like really break it down because like I don't like this section as much. And this channel I basically do for fun. And so yeah, when it's not as fun, being analytical isn't as fun. In here, there's something that was like very interesting. Conveys infinite shades. It's way too vague a phrase to pin to serious allegations. This whole section right here, I just really like the wordage on. I think this is actually where he stumbles. Let's see.
18th, and I'm afraid that I cannot provide you with the kind of answer that you're looking for. The phrase numerous occasions in place factual situations conveys infinite shades. It's way too vague a phrase to pin to serious allegations. What?
So what I think happens here, the reason he stumbles is because he almost forgets that like what the line is, and so this replaces is thrown off, and therefore to make sure that his section ends when it needs to end, he has to do the next two lines in a different tempo. That's interesting. Yeah, especially because Burr comes in with the what right after the, yeah, that's interesting. So, okay, I kind of get what he does there. That happens. That's like performances. It is what it is. I still don't like the section as much, but like I don't hate it. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm coming down a little strong on it, but it's just not as good as the other version, which I feel like has the perfect amount of space to like really let each line and quip breathe, versus this one is just like a letter. Like if someone in the comments was like, these are direct quotes from the actual letters sent back and forth between Burr and Alex, because I know that several of the actual real life conversations or letters or whatever, the real life conversing's between these historical figures was worked into the lyrics of particular songs throughout this musical. I can see that being the case here again, with like a little bit of jazzing up from Lin with the pen to make it more complex in its rhyme scheme. But overall, it does feel like a letter more than a song. And the other one feels like a great song that has like some like narrative lettery bits. And I just prefer that personally.
Answer that you're looking for. The phrase numerous occasions in place factual situations conveys infinite shades. Way too vague a phrase to pin to serious allegations. What? Listen now, how am I to disavow something so unspecific, dangerous with the reins of government? Wow, surely I said something less banal. Be realistic now. I have the honor to be your obedient servant. A.Ham.
How you proceed, young man, intemperate indeed, young man. Answer for the accusations I lay at your feet, or prepare to bleed, young man.
No, you know what? I don't like your tone. Lay it at my feet, I kick it down the road. Sorry if your life is difficult without your wife. You'll have to be more specific.
How's this for specific?
That's foul. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, he lost his whole mind. That's so wild. I will now have to cut that out. Great. Yeah, that's wow. That's so, I get that like technically they're threatening to shoot each other. So like really that's the more out of pocket thing, but like this whole reference to Theodosia and like him being a widower now and like saying that that's the reason, technically that is interesting. That is like an interesting reading of the situation, that like Burr is feeling all of these different losses back to back to back, and he is maybe projecting some of his pain and trauma onto things that he can fight back against. Like he can't fight back against death, but he can fight back against Alex. And so he's like, does that make sense? That is an interesting character reading, but like from the perspective of Alex, that is incredibly foul. Like that's really out of pocket. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked he said that, but not really because it's Alex. But yeah, that was bad. That was really, really bad. He said some bad things throughout the musical, but that was bad. Careful how you proceed. Oh, he says young man instead of good man, which I prefer good man. I like the kind of like nice, nasty, passive aggressive, political correctness, but still coming at your throat vibe of Burr throughout this entire like section here, because it just feels like it fits his character. That is Burr basically throughout the entire musical up until this point. Like there are a few moments where he like kind of comes out of character and like does things that are like more blatantly aggressive, but for the most part it's like a slow spiral into that, you know? And so this is interesting. Young man also makes him sound like he's like arguing with a kid, like he's like about to duel Philip instead of Alex, which feels weird because like while I do think Alex is younger than Burr by a few years, it doesn't feel like enough to call him young man, you know? Like they've been contemporaries and peers throughout the entire course of this musical, and now he's like trying to son him, which is also interesting now that I think about it. Yeah, I don't hate that actually. That's kind of interesting. Okay. Anyway, this whole section, while slightly different, I don't hate it. I actually like it more than the other changes that happened in the verse because like they're just like, yeah, they're better in my opinion. So it is what it is. These changes to what we like eventually get are fine, but they don't feel like as necessary as the changes in the verses, which felt like they really, for me, took this song to a whole nother level.
Intemperate indeed, young man. Answer for the accusations I lay at your feet, or prepare to bleed, young man.
No, you know what? I don't like your tone. Lay it at my feet, I kick it down the road. Sorry if your life is difficult without your wife. You'll have to be more specific, though.
How's this for specific, Alexander? We hawking dawn, guns drawn.
You're on.
I have the honor to be your obedient servant.
A. Ham.
A. Burr.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna try not to make this like demo part too long. Yeah, I really like the animatic here, like the foreshadowing of pointing to the sky. Although I'm not really sure why Burr's pointing to the sky here. Although he does that as a final pose at I think the room where it happens. One of the songs he does that as a final pose. But like I see why Alex is pointing to the sky, and then Burr shoots him. Alex still points to the sky. Blood, his face. Yeah, fixing his glasses. You know, or you see the glasses that he was fixing that they mentioned. And then it flashes the little skull. Yeah, this is really cool. This whole ending of the animatic section here is fire. That's really good stuff right there.
How does an arrogant, insolent immigrant orphan bastard whoreson somehow endorse an aristocratic southern adversary impossibly connected and keep me from being elected? I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens, the room where it happens. You've kept me from the room where it happens for the last time. Dear Alexander, I submit for your immediate perusal.
Interesting. Okay, so composition wise, it feels like the final version goes back to some of the stuff that the demo is doing, because like there's a lot more like scratching. There's also the particular piano that's used sounds much more similar to the final version piano than the one that we got in the workshop. Yeah, interesting. Obviously it's not as good as like the final version, but it's like musically much more similar. Also, we had like the big door creak in the beginning instead of.
How does an arrogant
Yeah, instead of the little piano motif. Oh, that's interesting. You can like actually hear the notes in the door. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, anyway.
time? Dear Alexander, I submit for your immediate perusal a letter from a Dr. Charles Cooper, who was kind enough to give me his approval to reprint a letter that he sent in confidence. He claims that on numerous occasions you have called me a dangerous man. Furthermore, I ought not to be trusted with the reins of government. Obviously, such an accusation must be met with either an immediate acknowledgement or disavowal. Now, are you capable of such a thing? I have the honor to be your obedient servant, A. Burr.
Okay, this little pause in between the two is longer in both the workshop and the demo, but that little string section there is fire, dude. Hold on one second. Yeah, it's like an immediate comeback in the final version. I like that better because it feels like Alex wasted no time in shooting right back to him, versus this like gives it a breath, but it's also like Leslie or whoever is playing Burr at the time can take a breath while Lynn or whoever is playing Alex at the time is responding. So yeah, I like the immediate fire back, but there's like some additional like string section in here that's really dope.
Obviously, such an accusation must be met with either an immediate acknowledgement or disavowal. Now, are you capable?
So good, dude.
Obviously, such an accusation must be met with either an immediate acknowledgement or disavowal. Now, are you capable of such a thing? I have the honor to be your obedient servant, A. Burr. Dear Mr. Burr, I've reflected on the letter I received from you on the afternoon of June 18, and I'm afraid that I cannot provide you with the kind of answer that you're looking for. The phrase numerous occasions in place of actual situations conveys infinite shades, is way too vague a phrase to pin to serious allegations. What? So now how am I to disavow?
This man really about to make me eat my words. That's hard. That's hard. When it's delivered properly, the vision is more clear. I see what you was. That's hard. Wait, hold on a second. Oh, maybe a happy medium of keeping Lynn's part the original verse and keeping Leslie's part the final verse, where it's, because. Oh, that was good. Wait.
Dear Mr. Burr, I've reflected on the letter I received from you on the afternoon of June 18, and I'm afraid that I cannot provide you with the kind of answer that you're looking for. The phrase numerous occasions in place of actual situations conveys infinite shades, is way too vague a phrase to pin to serious allegations.
I also like the emphasis on all the internal rhymes. I feel like he points it out enough with his voice that I don't have to go back and like word by word show it to you. But that's kind of hard. That's kind of hard. Oh man. I was not ready for that. I knew what was coming, but I didn't. When it really locks into place, it feels like it fills the pocket more. And more as in a more seamless and coherent way, and therefore the intention becomes more clear. This is a great lesson in how in rapping, just like in singing, it's not what you say but how you say it, because it's the same lyrics, like word for word, bar for bar with the workshop, but it fits so much better because the actual cadence of it is what it's supposed to be instead of what it ended up being because of the slip up where he forgot a piece of the line and then said replaces, and like, you get what I'm saying. So I wonder if they changed that out because he was having like a hard time getting this part out live. Like there are certain things where like I am rapping it where I know what it's supposed to be, but like for whatever reason, my brain and my tongue aren't on one accord. And I will sometimes have to rewrite a particular line or like couplet of lines because like for whatever reason, my body just doesn't want to say it right, like the way it's supposed to be said. And so, and then I know you're going to be like, but he's saying it right here. Yeah. But if he can't do it consistently, then he can't perform it consistently. Also, there are ways that you can like, you know, punch in basically where you can like, okay, I'm going to record this specific line now. And you can take it line by line by line or word by word by word. And then you can, you know, cut it up and sync it in a way that it comes out right. But that doesn't mean that you can necessarily perform it that way. I'm not saying that Lin can't. I'm saying that is a possible explanation for why Lin decided to remove this and rewrite these sections to be what they ended up being. But I think he could have done it, and I like it. So yeah, confusing now, but I think I'm going to settle on giving Burr the more diplomatic, smooth, slithering verse, and then giving Alexander the punchy, kind of like very rhythmic and, you know, aggressive in the delivery verse, because I feel like those both fit their respective characters well, and I just like the way they sound better. So, cheating.
Dear Mr. Burr, I reflected on the letter I received from you on the afternoon of June 18, and I'm afraid that I cannot provide you with the kind of answer that you're looking for. The phrase numerous occasions in place of actual situations conveys infinite shades, is way too vague a phrase to pin to serious allegations. What? Yes, and now how am I to disavow something so unspecific, dangerous with the reins of government? Wow, surely I said something less banal, be realistic now. I have the honor to...
But now, be realistic now. Okay. Yeah, he did his big one on this one. I'm not gonna lie. This is crazy. This is another fire rap for Alex that Lin removed in the rewriting and or editing from the workshop into the final version, which is very interesting. But yeah, that was crazy. I'm not gonna lie, it was crazy. This whole section right here is fire when heard properly, and I am regretting everything I said about it before.
Dangerous with the reins of government. Wow, surely I said something less banal, be realistic now. I have the honor to be your obedient servant, A. Hamilton. Careful how you proceed, young man, intemperate indeed, young man. Answer for the accusations I lay at your feet, or prepare to bleed, young man. No, you know what, I don't like your tone. Lay it at my feet or kick it down the road. Sorry if your life is difficult without your wife, you have to be more specific though. How is this for specific, Alexander? We hawking dawn, guns drawn. You're on. I have the honor to be your obedient servant, A. Burr.
Interesting. Okay, so that was very interesting. My favorite part of this video was obviously the obedient servant part, the compare and contrast between the final version and the original versions that existed, the demo and workshop versions. So interesting. Like there are certain small things that I just like really enjoy, like some of Lin's wordplay being further on display. With more lyrics comes more opportunities for lyricism, like but now and be now, you know, those different little embedded moments that we lost due to the lyrics being changed and the flow being dumbed down a bit. But then there are also things that like I prefer, like the A.ham, A.burr. The syllable count is the same, and it just makes it fit that much better than A.Hamilton. Like it's too much, you know, it's too much wordage on it. And as I said, I feel like Burr, his approach in the final version feels more Burr, feels more apt to Burr. With that being said, the approach of Hamilton in the original version feels more Hamilton. Like, it just feels like it fits his character a bit better. I get why they decided, like, okay, if we're gonna change one verse, then we need the other verse to like fit with that. But it's two different people writing letters to each other, so they didn't have to sound the same. And it's not like every single song up until this point, all of the verses sound the exact same from verse to verse throughout the course of the song. So I feel like they could have done like the more slowed, methodical, diplomatic approach for Burr in that first verse, and then continued with Alex doing this like more rhythmic, aggressive, in your face rapping flow in the second verse that we had in the workshop and demo. I think that would have been really cool, but overall, I enjoyed it. I really, really have enjoyed the process of going back and seeing these other versions to these songs, and in the process also seeing some of the deleted songs that were in the workshop or the demo that did not make it to the final version. But yeah, really cool. I think the next part is the final workshop / demo part before we head on into the mixtape. So up until this point, I have mostly agreed with like most of the decisions that have been made. There's been a few songs here and there that I have mourned their loss from the musical themselves, but there are also songs like this where I'm like, I really, really enjoy the final version, and so like I don't really have complaints. There are things that I feel like may have enhanced it in theory, but that's just like me, you know, galaxy branding it. I don't know for certain if I would have enjoyed it more or less with those changes, but overall interesting. A lot of the changes are also like, they feel like they were made for the purpose of like making the song shorter or the musical itself shorter. And so, you know, I'm not in favor of any of those changes because I'm always like, give me more, always more. But in this particular case, I don't feel like that's the case because it's the same. The verse is the same length. The verses are the same length. The songs are the same length for the most part, from what I can tell. The changes are just in the complexity of the lyrics and flow, and then like the amount of context that is given, which again, I'm usually all for, but in the particular case of Your Obedient Servant, I really like the final version a lot. So yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Some comments have implied that some of the changes may not have been Lynn's decision. It might have been Alex. Look, the guy who worked on this with Lynn, I can't pronounce his last name, might have been his call, like to make a change on something. So I'm not sure who made what changes. I'm just going based off what I've seen. But overall, what I've seen is the performers get more comfortable and much better with delivering the songs over the course of working with them, which makes sense, and really like making each individual song, each individual part their own, but also some like rewrites or recomposing that I often agree is better, you know? And so it's been a very interesting process. I've really enjoyed this. I don't even remember the other songs I reacted to in this other than Your Obedient Servant. Oh, Philip gets shot somewhere in there. All of the songs where Philip gets shot, my brain is just retconning as not having happened. So, yeah, is there anything in this that doesn't involve Philip getting shot? Maybe. Let's see real quick. No, literally this entire part is just Philip getting shot, and then okay. There's some other stuff in here. We have the 1800, like the election of 1800 or whatever. If I remember correctly, there wasn't massive changes there. There was just like some slight lyrical tweaks with like more additional context, whatever. It was basically the same song. Yeah, I really like this musical. The music in it is incredible, and the lyricism is incredible. I feel like the performances are so stellar, and you really get to see that when you're seeing them perform it when they're less comfortable with it. Like, you really get to see just how well they delivered it in the final version. So yeah, this is cool. I really enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoyed this as well. Hopefully you left some comments letting me know your thoughts on some of the changes in the songs. and the narrative and musical implications that result from those. And while we're talking about comments, definitely make sure to comment a writing emoji. There's like a letter, there's the pen, pencil, paper. There's a bunch of different writing style emojis. Comment one in the comment section down below to let me know that you made it to this point in the video so I can thank you personally. It also tells the algorithm that you enjoyed the video so it can push it out more. Hopefully more people can see it. Hopefully they can enjoy it. Hopefully we can grow. Hopefully I can become king of the universe. And the first thing I'm going to do, my first decree, is make all of the cast of Hamilton come back and perform this again, but like my 6-hour version that includes all of the cuts and deleted stuff, just put back into the final version of the musical, because I can. That's what you do with absolute power. Obviously, what else would you do? So yeah, definitely make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, do all of that so I can one day be powerful overlord and force everybody to do my bidding. And by my bidding, I mean just perform musicals that I enjoy over and over again. Okay, so thank you. If you appreciate that vision, definitely make sure to subscribe and like the video. It really does help the channel out a lot, and it's free. It don't hurt you none. So thank you so much in advance for that. I'll be seeing all of you guys here on the channel next time for the final part of this demo/workshop reaction series before we head into the other deleted songs and mixtape. So thank you so much. You guys have a great day.
Neurotoxin, cytotoxin, given all its effects, it just can't be boxed in. It's so strong, I have to call it oxen, feel it deep in your veins like hemotoxin. Cytotoxin, myotoxin, it raises your hair, all over your skin. When music hits, it'll make your head spin, feel it deep in your brain like neurotoxin. I'm the Goliath, Leone on the scene. Feel the vibration, no stock of beans. Cut out the burrow, hit you with the turbo. Don't need a referral to know I mean. Why am I blue green? It's just a smoke screen. Helps inject cuisine like a new vaccine. You're shaking your denim when you feel this venom. Not talking black bile that comes from your spleen.